All right. And five, four, three. What's up, everybody? Rat Talks. This is your boy Rad Raj here on the Rat Talks, and I'm excited for you guys on this special Friday. I got the man himself, the man that's making big moves in Houston. Give it up for my man Abraham, guys. Bro, what is up, bro?
What's happening, you guys? Such a good time. What the heck? What are we doing? We're on Rat Talks right now. We're
You know
excited,
it, bro. Yeah, man. Bro, I got to tell you this, man. I don't know if you ever get this, but you don't look like someone from Houston. You look like you're like somebody who lives in Cali, bro.
Okay. I'll take it as a compliment.
Bro, like you just look like a Californian, bro. Like I see you like surfing, like riding the
Woo!
waves, man. Like I don't know, bro.
Man, you know what? I'm an H-Town. From the top is Cali, but I got the J's on. That's when you
Okay.
know that's Houston. You know what I'm saying? So, no, I actually love California, but, dude, I love Houston, man. Houston is my city. I love it. I love it. I love it.
Bro, I see you making big things happening there in Houston, man. And man, bro, I can just honestly say, man, you're doing something great. And so tell me a little bit about yourself. I know you also pastor at
Yeah.
Encourage Church, and you're the youth pastor. Is that correct? So break that down
Yeah.
for me a little bit.
I'm the youth and young adult pastor here. Long story short, my dad is Mexican. Mom is Tejana. So when you think of Tex-Mex, you know that. You're in San Antonio. I am Tex-Mex. When I travel to any other state, they say, where are you from? I said, I'm Texan with Spanish descent, right? So I speak Spanish as well. But I grew up a little bit confused because I have a red beard. I'm white complected. I'm like, Mom, are you sure that's my dad? You know what I'm saying? They're pastors. But I'm like, did you have a past life? Anyways, but I'm the only one that came out güerito, kind of light complected, right?
Wow.
So I grew up in Houston in an urban area, and it was difficult. The Latino said, hey, you don't look like us. And the American would say, you don't sound like us. So what did I do? I ended up playing basketball with my black brothers and sisters, bro. So
Come on.
they accepted me. They're like, hey, come as you are. So I love gospel. I love rap. I love anything to do with urban culture. It's just my heart. And long story short, fast forward down 32. I'm youth pastoring at a church in West Houston. And it's been so cool. It's been an awesome ride, bro. It's been awesome.
Wow, man. That's exciting, bro. That's just like, all that stuff you're doing, bro, and all those big moves, bro. And bro, like you honestly, man, you need to be like a model, bro.
You know what? I'm going to pay you after this session. I'm going to send you a cash app for sure.
We're gonna make it happen, bro. I need you to be the model for Rat Talks, bro.
Let's
I'm
do
gonna
it.
get some shirts, man. I'm gonna make some shirts. I'm gonna put it on you and take some pictures, and boom.
Man, you guys, you're so sweet, bro. But no, not at all. It's funny because what you think is your curse ends up becoming a blessing. Like what for me, I think my white complexion and my red beard and my accent, I just don't fit in any particular circle. But now I'm accepted into many circles because of that reason. Oh, come, you're Latino. Oh, come, you look American. Oh, come, you like Jordans. Oh, come, you like this. It's like now I'm in every scenario. So what I thought was my curse has now become my greatest asset or blessing. Now I'm in conversations that I would have never been in if I didn't like basketball, if I didn't speak Spanish, if I didn't like urban culture. So it's been cool how, to me, just to see it, just revolve to what it is today, man. It's awesome. But thank you for that compliment. You're awesome.
Yeah, bro, definitely. So, tell me about Houston, man. Like, what do you think right now is something that the city needs in its city? I know every city has its need. And what do you see right now in Houston, bro? Like, what do you feel like's the move right now?
Yeah, so it goes back to what I was talking about when I felt like I wasn't accepted into different circles. So it made me, I study people. I love watching people, how they dress, how they talk, how they respond, how they just do things. I love, people watcher, that's me. I'm just like, man, that's so cool how his experience has had him come to this moment, or whatever he went through had him dressed this way. For whatever reason, you have a glorious beard. I want to know the reason behind that. But anyway, so for me, when I think of Houston, I think of this is the number one diverse city in the United States. It's the most diverse city. I married a Russian girl. So long story short, I went to Bible school at Christ for the Nations. and there was a girl playing piano, and I said, "That's Mama. She's coming home with me." So I said, hey, "Would you like to come to Houston?" She's like, "I don't know anything about it." Now I'm married to a Russian girl. We've been married for 7 years. Have a little boy, half Mexican, half Russian. So in my heart, subliminally, God was kind of, almost, I want to say, grooming me to be this bridge between not only denominations, but ethnicities. So married a Russian girl, grew up Pentecostal, evangelical, but was accepted more in the Methodist world. Now I'm currently at a Baptist-rooted church. I don't know anything about Baptist people. If anything, I thought no one else other than the Assemblies of God organization was going to go to heaven. That's why I grew up in AG. I don't know if you've heard of them before.
Yes, definitely. I have.
But
definitely.
now, looking at my life, like you said, the question was, what do you see in Houston? I see a united people. Man, we just put people on left and right. Just, I tell people all the time, I don't need you to come to my organization or to my church on Sunday, but I do want to see you throughout the week. So what do we do? Like, for example, right now when we're done with this, we're going to talk with about 10 to 15 pastors. We just continually are just talking about the city. What can we do to enhance our city? There's a club promoter that's not a Christian, not a believer, that is also part of the conversation. Like, hey, you're good at one thing, but how can we learn from you? So unity is what I see right now in Houston, and I'm loving it, man. I'm here for it.
That's awesome, bro. Like, just to know that, you even have people that may not even be non-believers and, incorporated and getting suggestions, because that's important, man. Like, that's one thing that we like to preach, and I like to preach at our, at a church, is that just because they don't know the gospel, just because they may not be a fan of going to church, doesn't mean we should, push them away, man. We got to show that love, that love is going to win those people over, man. And I see you just doing that in Houston, bro. Like, you just show mad love towards the H-Town, bro. And you can, and that's awesome, bro. Because we need people like you. We need people who are willing to take a stand, who love their cities, who are willing to not just, talk to the church, but talk to the people, the people who make the city, the community, bro. And that's such a big, it's so important, bro. And I definitely admire you for that, bro. And on that, bro, how do you stay so motivated? How do you stay so, bro, I see you every day. I kid you not, you're constantly on the go. Like, what gives you that motivation? How do you stay so motivated, bro?
I think it has to be that I'm grateful that I get to do what I do. So I went to school at San Jacinto College here. Then I went to Christ for the Nations. Then I went to another Bible school. Then I went to police school. Then I went to real estate school. Graduated all those things, did them for a little bit, but still, I'm a church boy, man. As much as I love being outside of the church and connecting people regardless of their faith, I'm a church boy through and through. So now that I get to do this and be in ministry, right, vocational ministry, encourage people, empower people, I wake up excited. And for the longest time, I would think, man, God, what do you want to do with me? I always thought I never wanted to work at a church or for a ministry. I said, let me just make my own way. But to be honest with you, it was going against what God had orchestrated already. This comes natural to me now, to wake up in the morning, encourage people, say, hey, man, how can we unite, versus me being a police officer in the street, not functioning in my gifting. It's cool. I can do it. It just wasn't my thing. So I think if we can find what we're created to do, we'll be in a better place. As a society, as a city, as a country, we'll be at a better place for sure.
And how did you know, bro? Like, how did you know that this was your calling? Like, what I mean, what made that transition? You're like, I'm done with this. I need to go just do this, like, what was that transition like for you?
It was headaches. It was arguments with my wife. She says, what do you want to do? One day she told me this, and I said, I want to be in ministry. Or no, I said, I want to serve people. And she said, that doesn't pay the bills. So at that point, I said, you're right. But we came to this understanding that really I wasn't living out my full potential. So to answer your question in short, find your groove, find your rhythm, whatever comes natural to you. Most times than not, you're called to that. Man, what comes natural to me is uniting people. Yeah, you're called to unite people. You need to find a profession, a function where you're continually uniting people, whatever that looks like. I always tell my youth here, they'll say, man, I want to be a basketball player. And I say, why are you working at Chick-fil-A? Well, I need to make money. Well, then the same money you can make at Chick-fil-A, you can make working at Toyota Center for the Rockets as a cleaning boy. Why don't you just apply? That way you're in the arena. Although you're not a basketball player yet, you're in the atmosphere of your future. So I can encourage anybody to do that. Whatever your natural gifting is, get as close to it as possible. For me, it was church. For me, it was serving here. When I was given the authority to be a youth pastor and blessed and prayed for, it was already in my heart. Although the check and the title came, my heart was always to help people, add value to them, and lead them to Jesus ultimately. So I guess naturally just finding your rhythm.
So would you say that ultimately just being happy in life is just following what gives you the most, joy out of life?
Yeah, that's exactly it. What would give you the most joy? Find the thing that you say, man, every time I do this, I just come alive. Every time I do this one thing. For some people, it's writing by yourself in a room. Man, when I start writing, I just start, awesome. You're probably called to write a book, write a vlog or a blog, whatever that is. Whatever that thing is for you that makes you come alive and makes you just say, this is so natural, find ways to kind of feed that,
Yeah. And as somebody who may be finding themselves, who maybe they do have a passion, but maybe they're on like that, like kind of just dragging their tail and, like how would you motivate somebody to get to where they need to be in life?
Yeah, there's things that you've had since you were a child. There's dreams, there's visions, and they're God-given. You've said, no, I just liked basketball. No, I always just liked dressing up. No. Those are things that God put inside of you. For example, for me, one of the biggest things, if I wasn't in ministry, it'd be interior design. I love creating atmospheres. That stemmed from us not having a big house, and we had to get creative with our space. Mom and dad would say, Abe, what do you think? So when we would move a couch to a different place, it excited me. For whatever reason, as a male, which is not common, it excited me to decorate a house. I'm like, that's weird. But now I know that it was God-given. Yeah. Now there's pastors that not only call me to be their friend, but to call me to also help their spaces, to create a space. Hey, what can I do here, Abe? And so, for me, it's always going back to those natural things that just gave you life, even as a young person. Go back and pay attention to those. Write those down. Say, for whatever reason, I really liked basketball. For me, it was basketball. What is it? Now we're in conversations about what it looks like to be a chaplain to our team here in Houston. Although I never became a basketball player, faith and basketball are now colliding. So God is going to use it somehow or another. Just pay attention to those things.
Wow, bro. And that's interesting, man. And I like how what you said about creating that you like to go in spaces and create things, man. And I think that's so important for us to go to that space and, those areas and start creating our own faith and start creating our own lives and our own patterns and all that good stuff, bro. And, right now, what would you say, as far as I know, you deal with the youth now, right? You've been doing it.
Yep.
And young adults. And do you see a big difference on the millennials and then the Gen Z? Like, what would you say is the biggest difference between them? Because I know there's a lot of millennials who are my age who are having some problems even connecting with the Gen Z, and I know there's always been some type of battle. And you working with both, man, what's your opinion on that?
Yeah. So millennial is, in my opinion, the best generation, not just because I'm it, but because we're right in the middle of, we got the roots in us, we got the old school in us, but we're also open to seeing what Gen Z loves. Although we said we loved people growing up as a millennial and under a Gen X or a baby boomer, they didn't really show that they loved people. It was very, inclusive, or it was just like, hey, this is just for our people group. If you don't look this way, if you don't talk this way, you're not allowed into our club. And Gen Z, although they're believers and they love Jesus, they're like, wait a minute. At the end of the day, we're people. We love people. I had one of my youth post a scenario. I don't want to say too much detail about it, but he posted something yesterday, basically a governing talking against transgender people. Now, my youth believes that it's wrong and there's a male and there's a female, and I don't want to get into that, but I'm just saying, I know his stance. I know what he believes. But at the end of the day, he says, man, I have a friend that is currently struggling with that. And I'm somehow wanting to lead her to Christ. So he takes the heart of, at the end of the day, she's a human. That's what I've noticed about the millennial or the past generations of Gen Z. Gen Z's like, okay, I'm a believer, but man, I respect people. Ultimately, I love people because Jesus loves people. And I like how they're really acting out on that. So that'd be the biggest difference that I've seen.
That's so true, man. You know, you hit it right on the head, bro. That is so true, and because you see, they're very
Yeah.
passionate in what they in what they do, and you know, and sometimes I think the millennials probably could even get jealous because they're like, man, how are they so motivated and doing all this stuff, and you know, I'm over here just not living my life. But I mean, I think if we can just look at life and see it like, man, they actually care for people. They care more than what we did in our generation, and if we can
Yep.
embrace them and bring them in with us, man, you just unite off of that, man, and just be like, you know what, put pride aside, put, you know, self-righteousness aside, put status quo aside, and be like, we need to unite as one despite of our differences and all that stuff. You know, we got to get together and make it happen.
That's
And
the picture, right? Like I'm having a pastors meeting this Friday where we do have these different influential people from the city that are not Christian come into a conversation about a Christian festival that we're going to have here. And it's funny because I want their ideas. Hey, implement what has worked for you. It's funny because most of the time, these influential people in our city have church background. If you really talk to them, if you really, and I don't want to go off too far, but I just wanted to share this a little bit. If you really investigate how these influential people have gotten to where they are, they'll tell you, man, there's principles in my life. Man, I remember going to a small church when I was 5 years old. I remember this. So all this to say, if we really take time just to hear people, meet them where they are, like Jesus is, we'll get further along. It just takes a lot of work, Roger, and that's why we don't want to do it. It's too much work, you know, to be Christ to people, to meet them where they are, to not really convince them immediately. We want the immediate. Man, I just talked to this person and they were a Christ follower right after I talked to them. We want the win. When Jesus is saying, hey, invest the time. It'll probably take 10 years, probably take 10 days, whatever it is, be willing to meet the person where they are like Jesus did. So I think the millennial generation is learning to do it better. Gen Z definitely got it down when it comes to that.
Wow, man, it seems like what we need is more sympathy. We need to stop criticizing and, you know, start sympathizing more. You know, and just like you said, you know, that's what Radtalks is about, bro. And that's what I love. Like, I see what you do, man. And it's the heart, it's, you know, your heart's for the people and you're meeting them where they're at. You know, you're meeting them where their sin is at. You meet them where their hurt is at. You're meeting them where their brokenness is at. And, you know, we're not here. The church isn't here to, you know, point fingers at you. We're here to just point you in the right direction with love. We welcome you with everything who you are. Welcome your sins. You welcome your past. Welcome everything. Come as you are. And our mission is to just transform lives, you know, and just preach the gospel, bro. And you know, that's just awesome, man. Just to see what you're doing in Houston, bro. And I know we're going to be getting together soon. And with Humberto, bro, that's going to be some fire. That's going to be some fire days, bro.
You know, I think of everything, how God is just uniting us all together, not even in just our city, but in our state, right? When I think of San Antonio, I think of a place that is just hungry for like unity, but they need conversations to lead them to that point. And this is the beginning of a big conversation. So if anything, for me, it's just saying, hey, God, what do you want to do through us? How do you want to do it? We're willing to lay our agendas down, to come together as leaders in our city and say, can we start the conversation of what it looks like to gather, not to steal people to our church and grow our churches, which is all great, but really just to be united more than ever. When you're united as a city, there's not church hopping that happens. There's not all these things that typically are a problem, like he said, because they know that we're all together. And it becomes awkward that you would go from one place to another because now we're all united. Hey, he's on my team. You feel like you need to go over there? Awesome. I'm gonna call him and see what he feels about that. Most times we're gonna see that and be like, oh, I can't do that. So the bigger picture is the ultimate unity for the city to see, hey, they're all working together. And there's millions of people, Roger. There's so much work to do. Houston has 7 million people. Our church here, the biggest church is Lakewood Church, which a lot of people are familiar with. Little church, right? But Lakewood doesn't even tap into half of the people that we have here. There's so much work to be done. And when I say work, I don't mean just convincing people that Christ is the way, which he is. It's more meeting them where they are. Literally, that's it. There's no agenda. You don't have to come to my church. I'm just going to meet you where you are. That's it. I'm going to walk this journey out with you. If you so happen to want Christ because of my example, here it is. It's available to you. If you don't, I can't force it. So if I can say the overall theme of this conversation is not forcing anything. God made you a certain way. He made you to evangelize a certain way. For me, it hasn't been the knock on every door. Hey, are you going to heaven or hell? It's been my life. Man, you always have joy. Man, you always have peace. Tell me about that. Yeah, cool. It's Jesus. All right. So what does that mean? So that's my conversation starter with people, and it's not me saying you need Jesus. It's my lifestyle saying you need Jesus. So if anything, that's the overlying theme for me. It's just meeting people where they are, man. That's it.
Awesome, bro. And before we wrap it up, bro, how would you encourage somebody to start having a heart of passion where they can start loving others and where they can just say, you know what, I don't want to be selfish. I don't want to be prideful. Like, man, this guy in front of me bought Starbucks. Let me pay. How would you encourage someone? Maybe somebody wants to have that passion, but they don't know how to go about it. How would you tell somebody to say, hey, you know what, live out your passion?
Well, as believers, if you're a believer and you're listening, you're a Christian, first of all, you don't matter anymore. It sounds very harsh, but it's kind of like in marriage. When you were single, you could do certain things. And when you're married, unfortunately or fortunately, depends on how you look at it. For me, it's fortunately, we are not the focal point anymore. Now God has said, hey, I've sent you this person to serve for the rest of your life. I saw my wife that way. I see those people around me the same way. For me, if you don't have that compassion for people, then you're not a human, you're a robot. Because compassion is a natural thing that we carry. But there's things like karma. There's things like, man, but they did this to you. Don't forgive them. At the end of the day, you're going to give a report to God and say, man, I made the most and I maximized my time on earth. How do you find compassion? Think of your own brokenness. There was someone that gave you a shot. There was someone that showed you the love of Christ. There was someone that said, man, that person, I believe in them. And I see every single person that way. I'll share this with you, Roger. People always tell me, Abe, why do you forgive so much? I've seen that person do this to you. I've seen them do that. And for me, in my brain, call me crazy, but it takes too much energy to tally how many things people have done wrong. It's like, oh, he did me wrong. Oh, I forgot about that. I just erase it, Roger. Like, I'm just like, okay, this is done. It's okay. New day. Let's move forward. And it's not ignorance, but it's unhealthy for my heart. So number one, I would say if you're a believer, you don't matter as much as you think you do. At the end of the day, it's those around you, right? Jesus had a mission. The mission was to die on the cross. That was his purpose. Purpose sounds sexy sometimes. Man, what's our purpose? Woo, we're living out our purpose. Jesus' purpose was to die. That doesn't sound sexy, but man, it saved the world. It saved us. Today we're in this conversation grateful to Jesus because he did that. So what is your purpose? And most of our purposes as believers is to lay down our lives and just lead people to Jesus, whatever method it takes. Through our dressing, through our speech, through our social media, everything needs to point back to Jesus. Everything we do.
Well, man, bro, this is amazing, bro. I really love the insight you're giving, man. And I definitely got to bring you to San Antonio very soon, bro. I would love to bring you in soon. We got to talk about it soon, bro, because just know just some big things are happening. Bro. But then once we bring you in, then I want you to start seeing, all right, who has better food taco trucks, bro? Bro, San Antonio's, bro, is on fire lately, bro. They've been coming up with some fire food tacos, bro. Bro, we can go from Houston to San Antonio. We'll record it all, bro. We'll do an eat contest, man. Listen, bro, I'm so happy that you came on today. Thank you for the time today, bro. Thank you for everything, man. And guys, all those are online. I hope you enjoy your Friday today. Follow my man, Abraham. I'll put the link in the bio right now shortly, guys. We can't wait to see you next session, guys. Y'all have a good one.
See you guys.